Yes, I am alive. And the reason why I say that, because of this book here, Path of the Devil. I had to wait 5 years after retiring from the Drug Enforcement Administration.
Evil men don't understand justice. That's the focus of this podcast series. In this episode, I'll talk a little about myself and how I came to write this book with Larry, Jeff, and Randy. I'll begin with my interview with Larry. So Larry, tell us a little more about what's important in this book.
It was in Yuma, Arizona, where it took place. This case was sort of unusual because I couldn't say no. I couldn't walk away from it when I started experiencing the kind of corruption I was dealing with. Identifying corruption at the port of entry, and people knew it. But no one didn't want to do anything about it because it's a small community and you don't want to get hurt by a corrupted cop. It isn't politics, but it's way of life. Two private investigators, Jeff Pierce and Randy Turkison, pushed me. Said, Larry, you got to tell the truth. You got to tell people how corrupt it is in law enforcement, how bad it is. And I thought, let's give it a try. So when I first met with the United States Assistant U.S. Attorney in Phoenix, Arizona, he introduced me to his boss, Janet Napolitano. Towards the end of the investigation, she got involved. Came down to Yuma, Arizona, and she asked me directly, Larry, how can we resolve this case? I just want to get this thing going, and hopefully we'll finally get it out to the American public. Got to let people know the truth. It is not about me. It's about what I was doing for the American people. I'm an educator and worked for 40 years in the system. I began by teaching mathematics in high schools and some middle schools. For the last 19 years of my career, I wrote curriculum for the county office in Orange County, California.
After retirement in 2010, I was given an opportunity to co-write my father's memoir with Wilma Gore. It started with a pencil, a memoir, Leslie B. DeMille. He was a professional artist known all through the country and worldwide.
A few years ago, I met retired DEA agent Larry Hardin and two private investigators, Jeff Pierce and Randy Torgerson. They convinced me I should write their story.
This was a brand new experience for me. When I heard their stories and the excitement and their passion about the stories, I said, okay, let's go ahead.
We finished it in about a year and a half. And now I'd like to introduce Larry
and have him tell us some stories about growing up in Kentucky, his work with DEA, and the corruption he encountered. Larry, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I have to say this before we get started. It's been incredible in the last few years working with you. I've learned so much about writing, about putting things together, and the grammar. You know, I'm from Kentucky. Of course, you know that now. And Larry Ray Hardin grew up on Plum Creek in Taylorsville, Kentucky. We speak very good English back there. The problem is, once we leave that environment, leaving that Plum Creek church, then we have to learn another language. It's called English, the correct English. When I started with DEA, I was very fortunate. I was truly surprised because of my background, my personality. I guess people say you're an easygoing guy. I'm easygoing, but don't you lie to me. Don't you insult me. I mean, I'm not going to beat you up or anything like that. I just lost respect for you. And so I learned that quickly when I got into DEA, drug enforcement. The only law enforcement background I had was with the military that worked very closely. It was aggressive in nature to go after a bad guy. I do like that. And so that really carried well with me throughout DEA. It's been a great career with DEA for almost 24 years. So it hasn't been perfect. I was in Bogota, Colombia. I had an opportunity to meet with Senator Mitch McConnell and his wife, Elaine Chao, and they're part of the investigation also. I'm going to talk to you again on the next YouTube. I'm going to talk to you about a PI that I work very closely with.
Thanks for watching. If you like what you saw, click like and subscribe below. And if you're enjoying the stories in these podcasts, click the link below in the description box to get more details. This is the end of this episode of Evil Men Don't Understand Justice. We hope you will join us again next week for more true stories from Larry and Randy. You will also enjoy Larry's other 2 books, Fighting My Greatest Enemy, Myself, and Home is Never the Same. These books can be found at pathofthedevil.com or larryrayharden.com.